Peace. My name is Brother Baki. I want to welcome you to Uncle Baki's Island. Welcome again to Uncle Baki's Island. I'm so glad once again you decided to join us. And look, I'm just so glad that you decided to join us today. First thing is first, I want to go into again. I always give you the preview of the current issue of the Final Call newspaper. And I tell you on the streets, one thing that I am never ashamed to do, or one thing that I'm never timid to do is a better word. I'm never timid to ask you to support something that's going to help you. Not timid at all to do that. For instance, I have people that say, well, look, my last $2, you going to take that? And I say, yes, I'm going to take that. Give me those last two to get the Final Call newspaper. And why is that? That's because $2 ain't going to break you. Now, if I was asking for your last 100, that would be something different. If I was asking for your last 1,000, okay, that would be a little cruel. But $2 ain't going to make or break you. If this is your very last $2 on the planet, I would tell you, yeah, give me that $2 because it's well spent. Okay? So I never have any timidness when asking us or promoting literacy amongst us. Never. Okay? So let's get that straight. So this is the current issue of the Final Call newspaper. I want you to make sure that you get the paper and read it. I have far too many of you that say, look, I like what you're doing out here. I appreciate you. Here's a donation, but I don't want the paper. It's one of the worst things you can say to me because it's not smart. There's too many people that do that, and some of you will bear me witness of what I'm about to say. Sometimes I give you the $2 back. You keep that, and I give you the paper. Because the $2 that you're giving me doesn't pay for this. You don't really have enough money to pay for this, what you get from this. The $2 just helps us to continue to get the paper, so that it's the re-up money. That's all that is, okay? So I want you to pay the $2 to get the Final Call newspaper, and I want you to read the paper. That's the most important thing, because if you don't have the $2, then I'm gonna give you the paper for free, okay? So again, this current issue is volume 34, number 5. It will expire this Thursday, November the 13th. And the new paper will come out that day. So I want you to pay particular attention to page 3 and page 20. Then I want you to read the rest of the whole paper, okay? All right. So again, I'm not going to be ashamed to promote literacy. Okay? So now, today we're going to go quickly into our program. And again, this is a program for growing and learning. Okay? One thing that I have to do, and I've got to learn to do when I'm out in the streets, because when I'm out with the Final Call, some of you don't know what it is. Some of you feel like we're at odds with each other. Some of you feel like we're on their opposing team. And so I got to filter through all of that. I got a job to do, and my job is dealing with, quite frankly, is dealing with you. That's what my job is. My point for being out there is because of you. And I have to be out there. So I got to be a man who has to be able to, there's a saying that we've been taught in my teaching, and it goes something like this: take plenty. Just that simple. I got to take plenty. So, and you all give plenty too. But I got to be able to take plenty. But it's all good, because I'm built for that. Okay? All that you can dish, I'm going to take it. Okay? But in that taking plenty, there's a principle that I want you to understand in that taking plenty. Because many of you, man, today, out with the paper, and I always like to start with, some current events and some things that happened today before we get into the meat of today's message. But man, I had a sister, and it was a sister, and if you watching sis, man, I got to have a heart of steel with you all. If I was a timid, thin-skinned brother, then y'all had me in tears out there. But it was a sister today, and a young sister, and her fiance sitting in the passenger seat. And so I asked them today, I said, how about the Final Call today? And my young sister said, no, I don't want that. We don't read that, and I'm not with that. And my young brother sitting there, and of all things, I won't tell you what he had on his lap. I won't even go there, because I don't want you to think I'm judging you. But my young brother's sitting there, and he says, this is what he says. He says, I'd like to read it, but I'm going to go with her. And I said, wow. I said, sister, have you ever read this paper? She said, no, I haven't. I don't want to. So she just reserved to stay in a state of just It's ignorance. And ignorance is not a bad word. It just means that you don't know. But she was so willing and hostile and ready to stay in that state. So that's what I mean by take plenty. And some of you think that we're on the opposing team, and you treat me as if I'm almost like an enemy. But that's what it means to take plenty. Plenty. See, you're not my enemy, brothers and sisters. There's no way. I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to offend you with this, but to be quite frank, you're not even on the level to be my enemy. And that's just the truth of it. You got to have, to be an enemy to me, you got to have a great knowledge. And you have to, and with that knowledge, you got to be doing wrong and wickedness with that knowledge to be an enemy to me. And I'm just being honest now. Most of you you're not nowhere on that level to be an enemy. So I have to help you in spite of, you know what I mean? So I got to take plenty, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm willing to do that. But, you know, we treat each other like that sometimes, but we don't have to. We shouldn't do that, but we do. But again, the theme that I'm trying to get to you, I got to take plenty. And I'm asking you all, sometimes in your life, you have to take plenty. Stop being so lacking in tolerance with one another. Stop being so ready to gravitate toward hostility to one another. Brothers and sisters, learn. You take plenty. Because, believe me, there was a time in my life when I would be coming down the street and my own family members could see me coming and they'll turn the other way. Because I was trouble walking in shoes. So, who am I not to be able to be tolerant of somebody? Much trouble that I've caused in the world, I have no right not to be tolerant, and most likely it's the same with you, okay? So take plenty, okay? Now, one of the things that I try to do is to be quite frank. When I get some of that garbage that's thrown at me, I try to kill your behind. And guess what? I kill your behind with kindness. You ever heard that term? Kill them with kindness? Well, that's something that comes from the Master. It comes from the Lord and our Savior. It comes from many people we call by many names, but Jesus is who I'm talking about. He is the one who said that we got to learn to turn that other cheek. That's what it means to kill them with kindness. You give me some hostility, you throw some vinegar at me, I'm going to throw some sugar at you. You know what I mean? So we got to learn to take plenty. Okay? Now, speaking of killing, since I use that term, killing with kindness, I want to say this about something, and I want you to listen closely to this part, because if you don't judge what I'm about to say, just listen to it all. But your brother has killed someone. I've killed someone. Okay? And listen to this, excuse the language, but I got to use this and you'll see where I'm going with this. But I killed, listen to this now, because this is a controversial, hard-hitting show, and we keep it 100. But I killed a nigga before. Yeah, I have. I killed a nigga before. And let me tell you about this dude that I killed. And he was a nigga. And when I'm using that term, it's not a good term. It is a term that's made up of this world of wickedness. And he was that. He had some of that in him. He was a Negro too. Okay? But neither of them is good. But I did. I killed him. And why did I kill him? I killed him because he was causing me so much problems and so much grief. He was the reason why I could not advance as I needed to advance. He was the person that tripped me up as I was trying and sometimes striving to do good. That Nigger was always there to spoil something good. Now I know you're saying, well, you mean to tell me you blaming all that on somebody else? On somebody else? Well, yes and no. I'm blaming it on yes, and I'll explain to you what I mean by yes and no. Now, you might be saying, well, it seems like you happy. You almost happy that you killed that dude. Well, it's not a seem like. I am happy that I killed him. Now you say, and you mean to tell me you recording this and the police gonna come in? Oh, let me stop you right there. Let me explain what I'm saying by I killed him. And happy that I did it. But I'll show you why I won't go to jail for it. And I didn't even commit a crime. Even I think God was happy that I killed that dude, because that dude was me. That's who I killed before I became an enlightened man. And we're going to go further into why I say enlightened. You all say, was he going to say Muslim? Yeah, same thing. Before I became enlightened and before I got my morals together, I was a dude in the streets who was a harmer of other people, or I harmed other people. I've done things that was not good to others and to myself. So that person had to be killed spiritually. You see where I'm going now? I had to kill that dude. And yes, I'm qualified to say he was a nigga because it was me. And that's the nigga that I killed, the nigga of self. So excuse that language, because I don't really like to use that language, but I used it for context. And I used it because we keep it 100, and I wanted you to be interested to find out what I was talking about. But the self, the things of myself that were not helping me to advance, I had to kill that person. In fact, again, using the Master's words, in the Bible it says that we have to die daily. Okay? So the first thing that I had to do to be able to achieve that dying daily means that that the parts of ourselves that is not helping us to advance and to grow, we have to rid ourselves of that. We got to shed ourselves of that. And the first thing that I had to do in order to shed myself of that was to kill that which was making it so that I could not grow. So that had to go. And that old portion of me, that portion of me that when people see me coming, they would turn the other way. Or when people, when I knocked on their door and they looked out the blind and they say, oh no, we don't want to let him in. That portion of me had to be killed. And so that's what I meant, dear family. I had to kill him. Or I had to let that portion of me go. In other words, there's a certain point where we deny ourselves. Well, I had to deny myself. I had to deny the parts of me that was helping me not to grow, the parts of me that was keeping me in a standstill position, the parts of me that was making me an unproductive person, that had to be denied. Okay? So that's what I meant. So I think that is something that we all have to consider. Particularly, and one day we'll talk more sometime, and we'll talk more to some of the sisters, but being a male, I got to address a lot of what I got to address to the males. I won't address a lot to the sisters, because not a lot, but some things, because you got to listen. I try not to tread on that water. When you're dealing with women, I try not to tread on that water. You're tuned in to Uncle Baki's Island on the New Way to Live Network. And I want you to stand by, because we'll be right back after these messages.
Hello, my name is Sylvester Jenkins, pastor of Passover Ministries, and you're watching New Way to Live. Join us on this broadcast as we talk about life skills. God bless you.
So this is the very reason why I want you to tune in, brothers and sisters, family and friends. Tune in, because we're going to be some people that's growing. We've got to be. We can't continue to be some Negroes or never grow, okay? But this particular segment, I want to talk to the males, to the men, all right? And again, I think I may have stated this before, but it's worth stating again. When I ask you, what is the definition of a man, a definition come to your mind. You and I and people will say, well, a man is somebody who, you're not until you're 18 years of age. If you're not 18, you're not a man yet. We think if you're 18 and you got male sex organs, that's a wrap. You're a man. When you get 18, you're a man. That's what we say. But that's not altogether true. In fact, it's not true. That's only a portion of it. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't really seen no 18-year-olds that necessarily qualify as men. No, it takes a little bit longer most of the time. 18 is still a teenager. So most of the time it takes a little bit longer than that to really reach manhood. But there's some other elements that really describe what manhood is better than 18 or 21, if you will. See, a man is one who takes upon responsibility and fulfills responsibilities. That's a man. A man is really a builder of institutions, a builder of structures, a builder. That's a man. A man is someone who provides for his women and children and his community. That's man. See, men are powerful. In fact, you know what? The Bible says that we was created in the image and likeness. We are men that was created in the image and likeness of God. So a man is really nothing to play with. A man is what God left to have dominion over the planet Earth. Now that's a heck of a man. So many times what we are dealing with in our community is not, I'm sorry to say this, but I've got to say, we're dealing with males. M-A-L-E versus men. M-E-N. We're dealing with a lot of people that's 18 or 21 and above that have male sex organs, but they're not performing like we're not performing like men. If you ever get the opportunity and you ever get to visit the great city of New York City, go into what is in the parts of Brooklyn where the Jewish people live at. Go into a community where you see builders, where you see maintainers. You can't go in there acting a fool, because you'll see what men do when you come in their community acting a fool. And I'm saying this out of admiration for the Jews, because they build community, and in their communities, you know there's some men. You can go to New York, you can go to Philadelphia, or you can go to Los Angeles. I've been to all three of their Chinatowns. Go and visit Chinatown, and you'll see. You'll see what men have. You'll see men building communities in Chinatown. You'll see men building businesses and organizations. This is what men do. So I want you to never forget this. There's something that men do, okay? And we trying to help be men, okay? That's what New Way to Live is about. That's what Uncle Baki's Island is about. We trying to make some men. So don't forget that. Now, let me tell you some things that all too often I see amongst us, that men, this is not characteristics of men. Lying. See, when you're dealing with a true man, you're not dealing with a liar. And let me tell you something that a person told me, and I'm not ashamed to say, I don't want you to ever think that I'm trying to be a big I talking to a little you. I once was a person that you could term, and it's a shame to say, but I gotta say it, that you could say was a liar. See, a liar is somebody that lies frequently. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect now, but I can say this: I'm no longer a liar. In fact, I had a person who was in authority over me in my life as I came into enlightenment. He told me something that I'll never forget. And when he told me this is one of the things that helped me and make me ashamed to tell lies. He said, "Brother, did you know that you tell lies even when the truth sounds better?" I said, man, now imagine that. A person who lied when the truth sounds better. That's what he used as an illustration to show me you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't tell lies. It was my brother years ago, and this was years ago. But he said, you lie even when the truth sounds better. And once I heard that statement, I never wanted anyone to tell me that again. I never wanted anyone to, even though it was out of love, I never wanted anyone to correct me about telling other than the truth again. So that was the changing point in my life. Okay? So again, these are things that men, generally speaking, strong men don't do. So we got to stop lying. Okay? Laziness. Strong men aren't lazy. All too often in our community, we suffer from laziness. We really do. You know, there are people that are making things happen. Most of the time, when many of us are asleep and getting up at noon, man, there's people in this world, movers and shakers, big ballers, shot callers, popping their collars. They done made things. By the time you get up and we get up at noon, man, most of their day, 3/4, 75% of their day is done. They get more done before, by the time we roll up out of bed, man, they done made big things in this world happy. Nobody of success is lazy. You'll never find a lazy person to be successful. I promise you that. Okay? So, again, I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. And anytime you can get somebody that will tell us the truth, that's somebody we need to listen to. So, laziness, that's not a characteristic of a man. Dishonesty, another one, is self-explanatory. To be dishonest, to be the type, let me tell you that when you're dishonest, when you go around and you're around other circles, when you leave from being around a couple of people or 2 or more people that are gathered, and you come around, and then after you leave, they talk about how I don't believe nothing he say. See, you don't want that. You don't want that. Dishonesty is not a characteristic that this is something that we have to shed from ourselves. We can't be dishonest. We can be, but we won't be successful. Okay? One thing about dishonest people, but in particular, getting right back to liar, do you know something that's strange about a liar? Guess what? Another liar ain't another liar. And that's wild, ain't it? Yeah, you know, I've heard, you know, there's liars who say, man, I don't deal with him, he's a liar, he be lying. But the person saying it lies. So, again, even another liar can't stand another liar. The next one is stealing, thievery. Look, man, there's no man worth his salt, or no real man steals. No real man steals. And that's, and again, a thief hate another thief. A thief would kill another thief. But no real man is a thief. Let me tell you what helped me to stop being, I stole. And your brother, see, I'm not here I'm not pointing at you. And I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me first. This is talking to me first. But I'm going to tell you, I've been guilty of stealing. I have been a thief. But I'm going to say something that helped me not to be a thief. One time during my thievery, I got caught stealing. I got caught stealing. I got caught several times, but I'm going to tell you this particular time. But I got caught stealing, and when them police caught me and told me to put my hands behind my back and handcuff me and put me in that squad car, and it happened to be on a weekend, so I had to go down to booking and stay in jail the entire weekend for stealing. And at that time, I think I was of a certain age and maturity where I said, man, look at this. So I had to call my family to come and bail my behind out for stealing. And I made up in my mind at that time to go in front of a judge for stealing. I made up in my mind that I don't ever want to go in front of, I don't like going in front of judges. I don't like it. And it's a pathetic feeling. It's pathetic, man, because it takes away your dignity and your manhood. There ain't no strong man have to go in front of another man. Listen, brothers and sisters, it makes me feel this small to go in front of another man and plead that he don't throw the book at me or that he don't give me a punishment too hard because I got caught stealing. I don't know how you feel about that, but to me it's a darn shame. So that feeling was just too much for me to take. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I could have been more successful, I might have been I might have stayed longer in my career as a thief. But I'm like you. We just don't make good crooks. You ain't gonna make a good crook because you always get caught, and I did too. So for me, that was enough, man. After the few times that I got, I'm not gonna tell you how many times, but after the few times that I got caught stealing and had to go in front of somebody and had to be at his mercy and was hoping, and then you know what? That's when we find God too, when you're in front of that judge. And then you're praying that he have mercy on you. Humble too. You're looking at him, hoping that he have mercy on you. But listen, to be honest with you, they want some money from you or some time in jail from you. So you ain't gonna get no mercy. You're gonna get with just what they got for you. But so stealing is another characteristic. We got to let that go. You should be ashamed, as I should be ashamed, to get caught stealing. You should be ashamed for taking something. Just how you feel when somebody take from you, you should be ashamed to do that to somebody else. Don't be a thief, man and woman. To be a thief is a low-class person, okay? Again, I'm not putting you down. I'm talking to us because I've been that low-class brother, okay? Okay. The next thing, very quickly, is to be undependable. Just don't be an undependable. That's not being a man, is to be undependable. Be someone that can be depended on. Also, intolerant. That means that you can't tolerate others, but you want others to tolerate you. It's not being a man, family. Untrustworthy. Well, we kind of covered that with dishonesty, stealing, and lying. But just don't be a person that's untrustworthy. As I said earlier, when I would be coming down the street or coming to someone's home, and when they turn the other way because they see trouble coming, that means that they thought that maybe I was untrustworthy. Don't be like that. That's not being a man. When I go home now to the cities that I've grown up in and lived in, I can go home and my family have the door. They'll lay the carpet down for me. They can trust me in their homes, my loved ones, and my friends. I have people to this day, when I'm out with the Final Call newspaper, they will come to me and say, listen, I had a sister the other day. She comes to me and says, look, my money's in the, get my purse out the trunk. She stopped the car, she opened the trunk, she popped the trunk from inside the car, and I grabbed her purse with money and wallet all there. She trusts me to bring that to her so she can pay for her paper. And guess what? Man, I wouldn't defile, or I wouldn't take advantage of that trust for nothing. Because irregardless if she see me do wrong, God sees me do wrong. And I don't want to mess my record up. Okay? Don't you mess your record up either. Anger. We got to stop being so angry. Okay? Just a lot of anger. Listen, if you are always feeling yourself angry, then you need to join this show, and you need to give Brother Baki a call. Okay? We'll tell the numbers again at the end. But 706-464-1940. Come on now. We got to help ourselves and help each other. But the first help that you need to be concerned with is helping yourself. You really can't help others if you can't help yourself. Okay? Hostility goes with that. Listen, some of us are so hostile. And we just dealt with a brother that, and one day I hope he see this, but he just came in here to the studio. And my brother is very, very hostile, can be. He told me the other day that he told his uncle. He said he told his uncle some very bad, foul things, and said he hate him, and he don't give a skip about him, and blah, blah this and blah, blah that. All negative language, curse words. And I said, first of all, bruh, any man that would talk like that to his uncle, you are already in the wrong. See? But that hostility, we got to stop that. If you want to keep hostility in your life, then just remember this. You won't succeed in this. You won't go very far. Last points that I'm going to talk about is 2. We called them back we used to say E and J. That old E and J. Envy and jealousy. Brothers and sisters, we have to do ourselves a big favor and try to rid ourselves of envy and jealousy. There's nothing good that come out of envy and jealousy. You being envious and jealous of somebody and hating them for either a characteristic, a talent, or possessions that they have is not going to help you none. It's going to hurt you. So, again, these are things that you must consider. We can't go into it until it's full depth. We can't give it its true due diligence. It's just a short amount of time. But these are just some points that I wanted to throw out to you tonight, and I want you to consider them. And again, you have my number. I want you to contact your brother. Continue to watch this program, because we'll help you with all of those. The shape that we're in, we didn't get in overnight, so the help is not going to be overnight. Just keep watching and keep rolling with us, all right? Okay, now if you're listening to this, then you're at the right place at the right time, and I want you to keep on listening and keep moving forward. Now, very briefly, we're going to talk about something else that I need to cover, because this is about growth, and I want you to consider something. Okay? Have you ever heard about the 3 U's? The 3 U's? The 3 U's. There are 3 U's. Okay? Let me tell you about the 3 U's. First U is the you who others say you are. The second U is the you who you say you are. And the third you, which is the true you, which is the most important you, is the you who you really are. Let me break that down for you. Others have a perception about you. Others have a way to think about you. That's the first you. Now that perception and the way that others think about you is not always true. That's their perception. Sometimes it's a good perception. And if it's good, then we hope it is true. But sometimes it's a negative perception. There are people who may say things about you, or who have a finger pointing at you, or a judgment of you, and their perception of you is not necessarily the true you. And you'll agree to that. That's the first you. The second you is the you who you show yourselves to be. Sometimes that you is accurate, but sometimes not. Back in the days, we called that front. Sometimes we put on fronts. I'm guilty of that too. Your brother's not talking just to you, but I put on fronts about who I am and what I am that wasn't accurate. And some of us do that. Sometimes it's correct, but not always, okay? But the last you is always right. That's the you who you really are, okay? So I want you to consider those 3 U's. Consider how others see you, okay? Because it's important. You can't continue to say, I don't care what they think about me. It's not, you should care what people think about you, especially if it's negative. And it just might be that what they think about you is correct. So you got to consider that. Only if you want success. If you don't want to be successful and you don't want to go nowhere, then don't consider it. But if you want to change in your life, then consider that first you. The you who others say that you are. If generally speaking, others say that you're a good person, you're a productive person, you're a trustworthy, honest, then you want to know that, and you want to keep building on that. But if it's opposite of that, then you need to check that. Okay? The second one is the you who you say you are. Now, if you present yourself as an upright, honest, dependable person, and that's what you really are, then you keep building on that. Okay? But if you don't present yourself as that, if you present yourself as a thug, then you want to change that. Because you just there's no future in thuggery, family. So you want to change that. Okay? So work on the you who you are, or who you present yourself to be. And then when you work on you're tuned in to Uncle Baki's Island on the New Way to Live Network. And I want you to stand by, because we'll be right back after these messages. Hi, I'm Brother Baki from Uncle Baki's Island. Listen, I want you to do what we say that you're going to do every year, but we just don't quite get around to it. I want you to quit procrastinating and making excuses. Let's get to it. This year, don't make a New Year's resolution. Let's do it today. I want you to call me today so that we can take care of this losing this weight thing and lose them pounds that you know you want to lose, you know you should lose, you know you got to lose, but you never quite get around to do it. And guess what? I'm going to help you do it. I want you to take our course, How to Eat to Live, and I want you to call me at 706-464-1940 and take this course, and let's do something. Be a big loser of those pounds that you say and know that you got to lose. Thank you. Give me a call today. How you want it to be, and you work on that you're not faking the funk, and you present yourself as something that you're really not. When you work on those 2 things, then guess what? The true you is going to be the you that we all see, and that'll be the realistic one, okay? That's what we want. We don't want you to front, and we don't want others to say, oh, that dude or that sister ain't about nothing, okay? So consider that. Now, as we close today's show, I want to go into a few points that I want you to do, okay? And you may say, you want me to do? What you mean you want me to do? Well, everything that I'm at, that when I say I want you to do something, it's for your own good. It's for our own good. I'm not going to tell you to do something that, number one, I wouldn't do or haven't done, and number two, that's not for our benefit. So once I tell you, then you decide if you want to do it, but you're going to see that it's good, okay? Who wouldn't want to do the first point? Who wouldn't want to stop feeling sorry for ourselves? I want you to stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop with that woe is me all the time. Again, our brother who just was in our studio, he had suffered from that. That always feeling sorry for myself, that woe is me. It's always raining on my head. No, stop with that. There was a time when we were a people of great dignity, and we got to regain that. So the first thing I want you to do is stop feeling sorry for yourself. All right, lift your head up. As we say, head up, stomach in, chest out. All right? The second thing that I want you to do is be realistic with your situation in life. See, if you're not being realistic with your situation in life, then you will never grow. You'll never make the changes that's needed to make, and you'll stay stuck. Some of the people in your circle is going to go somewhere. Some of the people in our circles, particularly if we're in losing circles, some of the people in our circle desire to make something of their lives. And sometimes it's some of the people in our circle will make something of their lives, and they'll leave us behind if we ain't trying to do nothing, as they should. See, there's an old saying that we have about crabs in a barrel. See, some of them don't want to be a crab. If you ever take some crabs that are alive, and you put them in a barrel, the crabs by nature will try to get out of the barrel. But the other crabs by nature will pull that crab down. So because of nature, you can put crabs in a barrel and you don't even have to put a lid on the barrel. Because the same one that was trying to get out will be pulling the other one down. And that's a phenomenon or something that's strange, but this is true. You can put crabs in a barrel and don't even have to put a lid on it. Now, if you put some other animals in the barrel, they gone. You come back, they gone, but not crabs. So don't be a crab in the barrel, okay? But be realistic with your situation and make the appropriate changes, okay? And that's the third step. Take some steps to make the change. Brothers and sisters, don't stay in a bad situation in your own life and not take some steps. If you don't take steps to make change that's going to better you, that means that you're afraid of success. And you got to look in the mirror and say, I'm afraid of success. If that fits you. Okay? And don't worry about the steps, even if it's baby steps. Baby steps is better than no steps. So that's the third point. And the fourth and last point of what I want you to do is to seek help, guidance, and counsel when you need help, guidance, and counsel. Don't let your ego get in the way where you don't seek help, you don't seek guidance, and you don't seek counsel when you need help, guidance, and counsel. Let me tell you what I do. If I need help, guidance, or counsel, I'm going to seek it. Let me tell you what. If you can help me, then I want you to do it. I'm going to pull your coat so that you can do it. That's the kind of brother I am. If I can get what I need from you that is going to help me, then I want it. I want you to give it to me. You understand? And I'm not going to be ashamed to ask or too timid or too big of an ego to ask you. If you can help me, I want the help. If you got some guidance that will guide me to something that will be beneficial, then I want it. If you can counsel me on something that I could do better to make better changes for me, then I'm going to get it. Some of you and some of us, we'll let our ego get in the way and we'll be stuck with no luck doing nothing. But that's not me, brothers and sisters. No, I'm not too big of an ego where if you got something for me, then I ain't going to get it. Oh yeah, I'm going to get it, okay? So again, those are the things that I want you to do, and I told you, you're going to want to do them. So let me say this as we close today's program. I want you to consider something, the speed of thought. Yeah, that's what I said, the speed of thought. Thought, if you did not know, has a speed. Just like you can take a speedometer and you can measure and you can record the speed of a car. That's what the police do when they give us some traffic tickets. They say we was doing 45 in a 35 mile per hour lane. Well, they record us with a speedometer. You can record the speed of a cheetah, which is the fastest land animal. You can record the speed of a plane, an airplane. And you can also, if you didn't know, we're not going to talk about it as it could be talked about, but the speed of thought has a speed. And I'll tell you more about that, how it's been recorded, and where I get this from at another time. But suffice that to say, the speed of thought is generally 24 billion miles per second. Now that's moving. In fact, I challenge you to tell me something that's faster than the speed of thought. I challenge you to tell me something. The speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. That's the speed of light. So that's moving. Generally speaking, people don't know anything generally that's faster than the speed of light. Speed of sound is 1,120 feet per second. But the speed of thought is generally 24 billion miles per second. Think about that. In 1 second, you can go from here to the moon, not less than a second. From here to the sun, no, well, it'll take you, with that, at that speed, we're talking about less than 3 seconds, about 3 seconds. From here to the sun, which is 93 million miles away. No, pardon me. No, man, my math is all wrong. Much less than a second. So that is the speed of thought. This, and I say this to you because when you're thinking, your thoughts and your thinking is powerful. That's the point. It's powerful. Your thinking and your thoughts are actual things. And we'll get into that because we're kind of getting deep. And we closing though. But your thoughts are actual things. Okay? And you have to consider your thoughts. Okay? So now, when you're thinking on a high level, man, see, that's what we gotta stop thinking on a low level and begin to think on a high level, because your speed of thought will take you somewhere. Okay? And your thinking on a high level will take you somewhere. And I promise you, I'm pointing at you. You are some brilliant people. But the problem is that your thinking is on a low level. So I want you to consider the speed of thought, okay? And the last closing points is in your speed of thought. I want you to increase your reading. Listen, I don't have television in my home. I know you all find that hard. I have a television, but I don't have television in my home. I watch selected things. I watch New Way to Live on the internet. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the TV, what am I saying? The channels that are broadcasted through like the Channel 4, Channel 8, Channel 12 on TV. No, I don't watch that. Most of the time for me, if you bear with me, for me it's just not something that I put my time into. What I watch are things that are going to help me to grow. That's what I put my time into. So on my television, I watch DVDs that I choose. I don't have cable, family. I know you say, man, no cable. I just don't make time for it. When I'm watching cable, I love Animal Planet on cable. But I'm not going to pay for it just to watch Animal Planet. Most of it, you do the same thing. When you watching cable, what are you doing? You just flicking through channels all day. I mean, very rare. That's what I find myself doing. When I had cable at times, I'm just flicking through channels. So what I watch is, I watch my internet television, and my favorite broadcast is New Way to Live. Hands down. Okay, and I want you to watch my show, because it's clean, it's decent, and you're going to learn from it. Okay, but some of the stuff that's provided on TV, no, I can't, just for my time. I'm trying to go somewhere. I don't make time for that. But my point is, I watch what I pick my own channels, and my own entertainment to watch on television. and I also spend a lot of my time reading. That's the point I'm trying to make right now. So your thought, put some thought into reading, okay? I'm going to go briefly. I want to say, preview 2 books briefly. Reading. This book here is called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. You know, you want to read something that'll blow your mind? It is this book. This book talks about how people that go to other countries and destabilize, or let me give you a better word. This is talking about big balling right here. You want to read about some real gangsters? You need to check this book out. These ain't no gangsters on that like we are holding down a block. No, these gangsters is holding down countries. But you need to read this book. It is an interesting book, and I just want to pique your interest. It's called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. And your brother, Uncle Baki, Brother Baki, I sell books, and I'm never ashamed to sell you no books. I would be ashamed to sell you some crack. I'm not going to sell you no weed, but I will sell you some books, okay? But ask me about this book. For those who like, I am a person who like the old mafia movies. I love them because they're interesting. It's a lot that can be learned in those. But I like the mafia movie. I love The Godfather, one of my favorite movies. But you want to read about the real true life Godfathers? Man, you need to check out this little book. This little book called The Greenfeld Jungle. This is a book that shows, and it got some pictures. Man, you want to see Frank Nitti? Man, I think it's Bugsy Siegel. I'm going to tell you, there's a picture of Bugsy Siegel in here of what they did to him. Man, his head is blown off. And I don't mean to be macabre. I don't mean to be gross. But no, this is a great book. It got a picture that you should see of some of those gangsters and how they started, in particular Las Vegas. How the mob started Las Vegas. And it got some pictures with bullets right through their eyes and head. This is not a fictional book, meaning this ain't no story that's made up. This is actual book with actual pictures. But I say that because, brothers and sisters, take your thought to another level and be great readers, okay? Because great readers become great leaders, okay? So, that's our show tonight, and I want to end with a picture that's worth 1,000 words, okay? I want to tell you, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Can you see that? Don't ever give up. This is a picture that illustrates how you and I gotta be. You see that little frog in that bird's mouth with his hands wrapped strongly around his neck, and that bird is sweating. He gotta think now, if I don't let this joker go, this joker gonna choke me out. But I think we both can agree, and we all can agree that that frog, because of his not willing to give up, I think the story ended by him hopping away. And I think that bird was like, man, I don't want to see him again. But this is the spirit that we have to be. We can't give up. Don't ever give up, okay? If it's something that's worthwhile, something that's good, something going to benefit you, don't give up, all right? Be that like that little frog, okay? So now, I want you to stay tuned and continue tuning in to our network, A New Way to Live. And we're going to bring you programming that's going to be off the chain. It's going to help you. It's going to help me. And we're going to take it somewhere and do something big in our area, okay? Stay tuned because I got our guest that I'm going to have shortly for you coming up is going to be off the chain. I'm just so excited. And I want you to see this guest that I got for you on Uncle Baki's Island, okay? So stay tuned and watch out for that guest. And I want you to be afraid to miss our program. Be afraid to miss this show, okay? Be afraid to miss it because it's going to be off the chain. So with that, as I always say, I love you. Stay strong. May God bless you and peace to you and have a winning day. Peace. Peace and welcome. Listen, I thank you for joining us on our New Way to Live network, and I thank you for joining us on my show, Uncle Baki's Island. But listen, that show, in order to produce this, it costs money. So I'm asking you, because when I'm out there on the street and I'm dealing with you and you're so gracious and so beautiful and you're always so willing to give, but I don't take that lightly. And I don't ask for support of anything unless it's of a worthy cause. And most of you, I've never asked for anything of support. But I'm asking you to support this network and specifically my show. So I want you to send your donations, and any donation, none is too small and absolutely none is too big. But send your donations and write your checks and money orders out to Uncle Baki's Island, and send your donations to 2324 Francis Street, 2324 Francis Street, Suite 105A, Columbus, Georgia, 31906. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can call me at 706-464-1940. And again, I thank you for your support. Peace to you and have a winning day.